Hello, I'm Mrs. J, and welcome to my math class. Today we're going to work on solving systems of equations, linear and quadratic, using substitution. And these, in the first one on here, they're already solved for y, both of them. So it's kind of like you're setting them equal to each other. But what you're doing is you're plugging one into the other, substituting it in. So in place of this y, we're going to put 3x squared minus 8x plus 2 equal to the negative 2x plus 11. So I put it in place of the y. And then it's quadratic, so we need to get it set equal to 0. We'll add the 2x over and subtract the 11. So we have 3x squared minus 6x minus 9 equals 0. Notice we can divide these all by 3 so that we have x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Then we need two numbers. When we multiply, we get negative 3. That when we add, we get a negative 2. That would be a negative 3 and a positive 1. Setting those equal to 0. Add the 3, subtract the 1. So those are two x values. We're going to have 2 points here. We need to plug them back in to find the y. And it's easier to plug into this one. Y equals a negative 2x plus 11. So for the first one, x equals 3. Y equals a negative 2 times 3 plus 11. Negative 6 plus 11 is 5. So our point is 3, 5. Our other one's a negative 1. So then you plug in negative 1. Y equals negative 2 minus negative 1 plus 11. Y equals 2 plus 11. Y equals 13, which gives us the point negative 1, 13. So you have to remember to go back and find the y value. Let's try one more. So y equals 2x squared minus 3x. And the other one, negative 9x plus y equals a negative 16. So on this one, they're not both solved for y, but this one is, so we can take this and plug it in here. So you have negative 9x plus 2x squared minus 3x equals a negative 16. 2x squared, combining like terms, negative 9 and negative 3 is a negative 12x, and I'm going to bring my 16 over to get it set equal to 0 since it's quadratic. This one's nice again. We can divide by 2 to get the leading term to be a leading coefficient of 1. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Two numbers, when we multiply, we get negative 8. Then when we add, we get negative 7. Negative 4, negative 2. Setting them equal to 0. We get 4 and 2. So those are our x values. We have to plug them back in to get the y. So when x is 4, I'm going to plug it into this one. 2 times 4 squared minus 3 times 4. 1632 minus 12 is 20. So our point is 420. When we plug the 2 in, y equals 2 times 2 squared minus 3 times 2, which is 8 minus 6, or 2. So you get the point 2, 2. So let's try some other ones. This other set is nonlinear equations. But the process is the same. So we have x squared plus y squared equals 9, and x minus y squared equals a negative 7. Okay, what we could do, because notice this is y squared, we could get y squared by itself here by bringing the x squared over, and it becomes a negative x squared. And then we can plug this in for y squared. So we have x minus 9 minus x squared equals a negative 7. Distributing, we have x minus 9 plus x squared equals a negative 7. X squared plus x, bring the 7 over and get a negative 2. Factoring. So once you do that, it's really the same process as the other ones. Let's see, x plus 2 and x minus 1. Setting them both equal to 0. X equals a negative 2 and x equals 1. These are your x. You still need to plug them in to find your y. If I use this one, okay, so plugging in the x, we have y squared equals 9. This is going to be 4, a negative 4. Y equals 5, this y squared. And then y equals plus or minus the square root of 5. So we have negative 2, negative square root of 5, and negative 2 square root of 5. So there's 2 answers. Then we plug 1 in. Y squared equals 9 minus 1 squared. Y squared equals 8. Taking the square root, y equals plus or minus the square root of 8. 8 has a perfect square of 4, so it's y equals plus or minus 2 radical 2. 1 and 2 radical 2. 1 and negative 2 radical 2. So this one would have 4 answers. Try one more. Okay, so we have y minus x equals a negative 1, and 3x squared minus 9x minus y equals a negative 7. So this one has an x and an x squared. We need to then get rid of the y. So first solve this by adding the x over. Then we can take this and plug it in. So we have 3x squared minus 9x minus quantity x minus 1. Distribute the negative, and then combine like terms. Bringing the 7 over, we get an 8. Then you can try and factor it, or you can use the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root b 10. Squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. 10 plus or minus the square root. 10 squared is 100. 100 minus 4 times 3 times 8 is 4. So it's 10 plus 2 over 6, 10 minus 2 over 6. This would be 6. I don't know where that... 2 times 3 is 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 10 minus 2 is 8/6, which reduces to 4/3. So those are our two x values. To find y, we need to plug them back in. Y equals 2 minus 1 or 1. So this point would be 2, 1. This one, y equals 4/3 minus 1, which is 1/3. And that would be your two values. That's all that's to these two.